You know what's strange about people born in the 1990s? They remember a world that doesn't exist anymore. They played outside until the streetlights came on, but also remember their first AIM screen name. They used encyclopedias for school projects, but also downloaded music on Napster. They're the last generation who had a childhood without smartphones, but came of age with social media. And that split, that created what some researchers are calling 90s kids syndrome. If you were born between 1990 and 1999, you occupy a space in history that will never be repeated. You're not quite a millennial. You're definitely not Gen Z. Cartoon Network and YouTube, Blockbuster and Netflix, playing outside and playing online. And here's what nobody tells you. That split childhood created adults who are simultaneously nostalgic for simplicity and fluent in complexity. And it's affecting your mental health in ways you probably don't even recognize. Picture this. Saturday morning meant waking up early for cartoons. Scooby-Doo, Rugrats, DuckTales. You pour yourself a bowl of sugary cereal and sit cross-legged on the floor in front of the TV. No tablets, no streaming services, no on-demand anything. If you missed it, you missed it. And somehow that made it matter more. After cartoons, you head outside. Not because your parents told you to, because that's what kids did. You played hide and seek until dusk. You climbed trees. You rode bikes through the neighborhood. Scraped knees and muddy clothes weren't emergencies. They were proof you'd actually lived that day. You didn't need fancy toys. A stick became a sword. An empty lot became a battlefield. And because you couldn't Google what to do when bored, you developed something rare, creativity born from emptiness. But here's where it gets complicated. You didn't just grow up analog, you lived through the transition. You remember VHS tapes and rewinding them before returning to Blockbuster. But you also remember when DVDs felt like magic. You used dial-up internet where a single web page took minutes to load. But by high school you had broadband. You're bilingual in a way no generation before or after will ever be. Analog native, digital fluent. And social media? You remember life before it. You had actual privacy. When you did something embarrassing, only the people there knew. No phones filming, no viral videos. You got to figure out who you were in private. But then everything changed. MySpace, Facebook, Instagram. You learned to perform your life, to seek validation through likes and comments. And that shift split your psychology in half. Here's what researchers noticed. 90s babies experience unusually intense nostalgia. And it's not just sentimentality, it's neurological. Your brain filters out the mundane and preserves the emotional highs. It's not that the 90s were perfect. It's that you remember how it felt, being fully present without constant comparison, living without performing, existing without documenting. But here's the truth. You're not stuck between two worlds. You're one of the few who understands both. You know what life was like without constant connectivity, so you can disconnect when needed. You value authenticity over performance. Because your identity formed before audiences existed, you learned patience, waiting for downloads, for shows, for moments. Delayed gratification wasn't a strategy, it was normal. You're not confused. You're adaptable. You're not lost. You're aware. The world changed while you were growing up. You carry both worlds inside you. And maybe that's not a weakness. Maybe that's your greatest strength. If this felt personal, subscribe for more psychology like this.